Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here, today, and particularly happy to be hearing so much about retrofitting, which is a topic that is of focus or main interest for us. So I will today bring you about a project that serves as a case study for a retrofit that is actually achieving a net zero, or I should say a near net zero result. And I will try to guide you through the process of how we actually made it happen. So first of all, start with kind of the concept of it, why this happened. So we wanted to have an opportunity to showcase that these concepts that we have been talking for so long about net zero are actually a reality in today's context. So it's not something that will come into the future, it's something that we can achieve now to, of course, reduce the energy usage, the water usage, the wastage usage that we have. We were appointed by one of our partners, RSA Global, to essentially look at one of their existing assets and review how were they currently using their energy and how could we help them reduce it to achieve a target of being net zero. So we wanted to complement different technical areas so that we could achieve, on one side, the reducing of the energy load, and from another side, complementing the rest of that energy load with, a renewable source. So just a little bit about the work that we actually did. So this is a shared savings energy performance contract. What does it mean? It means that we are investing in implementing everything that is done there and collecting from the savings that we actually are able to get. So this is actually our preferred way of entering into contractual arrangements because it becomes a common vested interest from both parties that are there. The more energy we save, the more both parties gain. And if we fail to achieve the targets, we pay, a penalty by not collecting the money that we require for the project. So it makes us a completely vested interest party in this, and it's the way that we actually like to doing it. This is a 6-year contract, which means that during these 6 years, we are responsible for every part of the operation and working of the assets that we change. So this also represents a change in the way that usually projects are done, in the sense that we don't go in, change some equipment and go out. We actually stay for the length of the contract to ensure that the savings are actually achieved throughout. Just some context. So this was a warehouse, or this is a warehouse. And these are some of the examples of the energy efficiency actions that we did there. I'm not going to focus too much here now because I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. So, how do we actually do this? So I want to guide you through so that we can understand jointly how we do. So we start by looking at what is currently existing there, gathering all data to understand how the building is currently using their energy. We go on site and we actually do a lot of localized data assembly. So for us, it's not only important to understand the 12 months of bills. It is important to understand how the different equipment is actually using energy at any given point in time. We collect all of data, go over it, create a report that is essentially a conclusion of this. So this tells us how energy is being used, where is it being used, and what are the opportunities for improvements that we could identify. Now, having, of course, done all of this, we know how much we can save. Then we move into an implementation stage, where we will go through, of course, an engineering stage where we detail everything that we are going to do. We will acquire equipment, and here you have some of the examples of the equipment that was acquired, things from EC fans, LED fixtures, wet walls, etc. We manage, of course, all of the implementation of this. We test it, we make sure that it's working, and our implementation is completed when the systems are working as they were intended and achieving the outcome that we wanted. Then we enter into the last stage, which is an operation stage, which lasts the whole length of the contract. It is during this stage that we actually collect the savings. We have a fully comprehensive energy management system that collects in real time data for every system that was installed, aggregates all data, and serves as the base of all of the measurement and of the reporting that we make about the savings that have been achieved. So again, it's not about estimating, guessing, it's about actually data providing you the information that you need to assess whether the systems are working as they were expecting and the savings being achieved or not. And of course, based on all of that, we then invoice a portion of these savings to recover the investment that we have made initially until now. So how do we choose what we can do? So these are the 7 actions that we, in this case, we chose to do. We have a huge number of them, and as it was said earlier, every year new technologies come in that add to this pool. So for us, what is always important is to understand first what each technology is able to contribute to reduce the energy and water usage. That is one side of it. On another side of it, it has to be feasible to be implemented on this site, because some actions may not be technically feasible to be implemented in all of the sites. And of course, on the third component, it needs to be economically feasible as well. So most of the customers that we engage with have a certain expectation in terms of return of their investment or payback of the project or contract length. And we could do a lot more, of course, but this would extend from where they are, let's say, aligned to do. So we always need to bring these 3 characteristics into the same point and make sure that we have a project that is considered, attractive and feasible so that it can be executed. Because in the end, that's what we are here to do. We are here to save. We can only save if we can implement something that actually contributes to that savings. Paper savings, we are not interested in. We are actually interested in implementing projects that lead to savings, and I would rather implement a lower saving case that is actually done than have a lot of high saving cases that were never implemented. How we also choose the companies that we work with. So I think a lot of you are here today. I think this was also an important topic. We care about the efficiency of the equipment itself. So it has to be, of course, an equipment that contributes to this energy efficiency. It has to have an adequate cost. Now, with this, I don't mean it has to be the cheapest, because we have also heard that that normally doesn't lead to the best output. And for us as investors, to be honest with you, we are not really concerned how much the equipment costs. We are actually concerned with what is the result that it will actually give me. Of course, things like warranty and after-sales support are very important because, as I explained, for the 6 years in this case that we were in this contract, we are responsible for everything that is there. So we need to make sure that the equipment will work as expected during this length. And we have other contracts that are gone up to 8, 9, 10 years. So we need to make sure that everything works. Performance guarantee is quite important to us. We need to make sure that it works as expected. Of course, now a very hot topic in the times that we live. How long does it take us to actually get it? Exclusions and inclusions need to be very obvious for every party that is involved in this. And the capability of delivering turnkey solutions. So more and more we are less interested in buying one piece, but more interested in buying a complete turnkey solution that bridges this all. So now that I've guided you a little bit through the process, let me guide you also through the outcomes of this, Because, we did all of this, and we wanted to be sure that we are achieving what was expected. So I'm happy to confirm that this net zero expectation is now transformed into a reality. So this that you have seen there has been in operations for about 18 months now. So we have extensive data records that have shown that last year, in 2021, only 1% of the entire electricity consumption in the building was acquired from the local utility. Everything else is either reduced from the original baseline or fed from the local solar installation that you can see there in the picture. So on these 7 EMs that were implemented, we achieved a 21% energy saving. That represents, or that was then complemented with a solar system that contributes 99% of all of the electricity used. So again, this is not a special project. This is a normal project that we should be doing tons of those every day. I don't want you to understand this as something out of the ordinary we did. We didn't do anything special. We just took advantage of a receptive party that was interested, actually genuinely interested in saving energy and cost, obviously. And we complemented with a lot of good engineering work, good partners that work with us to be able to achieve a result that I'm happy to come here and share with you. More important, I think, is also the part of awareness. So this case that I've shown was awarded the Best Net Zero Project of the year 2022 in Retrofit Tech Awards. And I don't come here to tell you this to make ourselves look important. I'm coming here to tell you this because this is an excuse we've been using repeatedly to showcase this to the wider audience we can, to make sure that every customer, like RSA, can have a similar project implemented for their common benefit. And it's a very selfish exercise. They are doing it to save energy, to save money, no? But contributes to what we are all here to do overall. There is also a social impact, which we always like to quantify. So more than, of course, how many cars, how many trees, how many this, how many that, for us it's what is the carbon reductions that this project contributed to as well. So in this case, we have a complement that is from the energy savings. From another end, we have a complement that comes from solar. And this project is very capable of achieving a high level of reductions in carbon. And again, many more like this could be done. And finally, I leave you with just a brief slide about us, just to showcase who we are. We are essentially an energy service company, an ESCO in the market. There are a lot of other ESCOs in the market. And we are here to help customers reduce their energy and water usage and their carbon usage as well. And we do it on a fully financed model, which means we invest in everything that we do, because we put our actions where our words are. We invest our money to achieve savings. If we fail, we don't get paid. But if we achieve, we share. And that is, I think, a good way to move forward. So thank you for the opportunity to be here sharing this with you, and I'll be available afterwards if you have any doubts. Thank you.